I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome to Matter of Fact. From the campaign trail to the White House, a cornerstone of President Trump's agenda has been his promise to build a wall between the United States and Mexico to stop illegal immigration. But the political promise has proven hard for the president to fulfill. I traveled to the border in Hidalgo County, Texas, for a firsthand look at how this controversial policy is impacting the people who are living there. The border between the U.S. and Mexico is nearly 2,000 miles long, and President Trump certainly isn't the first president to build a physical barrier there. Immigration policies dating back to President Bill Clinton and George W. Bush walled off large sections of the border in California and Arizona and New Mexico. But large swaths of the southern Texas border remain open, and that's because it's estimated that 95% of the land is privately owned, including a large portion in Hidalgo County. And landowners there told our correspondent Jess Gomez they are not giving up their land without a fight.
In South Texas, the Rio Grande River, the border between Mexico and the United States.
The water right now looks like glass, and it's so peaceful.
For the Cavazos siblings, the banks of the Rio Grande in Mission hold a lifetime of memories.
It was my grandmother who bought this land at a time that women couldn't buy land, so my uncle and my dad had to sign for it.
The 65 acres of former farmland is now dotted with small rental properties, income that helps keep the family afloat.
We don't get rich off of it, but help us pay the taxes and the bills that we have.
We have not received your permission to access the property.
Now the letters are piling up at the home Lisa, a former teacher, shares with her disabled brother Fred. They're from the federal government requesting access to their property in preparation for border wall construction.
The red area here
where the
is what they will take.
The wall planned on the North River Levee, seen here on the right, would effectively slice the Cavazos property in half. They say trapping their land, animals, and riverfront properties on the other side.
I would assume that my renters would not want to be here on the inside of the wall.
The Cavazos, who welcome the near constant presence of Border Patrol on and near their property, feel a wall here will do little good.
If you can't catch them coming across, that wider river, a wall is not going to stop them either.
Their cousin, Ray Anzaldúa, points to the border barrier that went up near his Gran Haino property 10 years ago. The former customs agent says at more than a mile from the actual border, it's created a no man's land.
In essence, you're going to have a staging area for illegal activity, and it's just a waste of money.
But Othel Brand says the barrier here that runs through the Hidalgo Water District he manages has reduced illegal traffic. He sent his employees to firearms training after he says someone crossing the border shot at them.
I don't want that 5% element that's going to come across here that's criminal. I don't want people coming into my country illegally. I want them to follow my laws like I have to live by every day.
We're farming the land that my dad purchased after World War II.
Farmer Frank Schuster is somewhere in the middle. He's tired of the broken fences and drug drops on his border property.
The day-to-day challenge is to be able to stay calm when you might have somebody running through your yard.
But Schuster says more boots on the ground and technology at the border is the answer, not a wall.
Both right and left, rather than trying to cure the problem, are using it as a club to beat the other side up, and we're just stuck down here dealing with the issues.
Issues proving to be complicated for Texas property owners. The Texas Civil Rights Project and others now helping landowners understand their rights.
If you don't want the government agents on your property surveying, measuring, taking soil samples, it's your private property. You don't have to allow anybody on it.
We have determined that it will be necessary to file an action in federal district court.
Unless there's a federal court order, which the Cavazos family has now learned is on its way.
I grew up here. They see this as a bad place. It's not a bad place.
A place the Cavazos say they won't give up that easily.
The answer is no. And we'll fight it as long as we can for my family, for my ancestors.
In Mission, Texas, for Matter of Fact, I'm Jessica Gomez.
According to an investigation by ProPublica, when the government seized land on the Rio Grande to build a physical barrier back in 2007, the Department of Homeland Security filed more than 360 eminent domain claims in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Today, dozens of landowners are still fighting those seizures in court.